What I like about Amazon's doorbell Ring is that it provides you security. Say if a burglar was turning up, you could see them through the camera, and it provides you convenience so you know whether or not to open your front door. It's a brilliant doorbell, and it's certainly not grassing you up to the police.
New tonight, Amazon may have handed over your home surveillance video to police without giving you a heads up.
This is just crazy. In new documents, Amazon admitting it gave footage from Ring doorbell cameras to law enforcement nearly a dozen times this year without the consent of users.
My old doorbell may not have been fantastic, but one thing I knew for sure is it weren't behind my back talking to the police. That's one of the things I used to like about the old doorbell. Ding dong! Oh, there's someone at the door. And also it's not going, here, you've got no idea what Russell's up to in there. I want to be in charge of the doorbell. I don't want to think that the doorbell's got its own life, where it's like chatting to LAPD because it's got a hunch I'm up to something, like it's a sleuth, like it's a gumshoe, like it's a Sherlock Holmes doorbell that's got ideas about justice and what its duty should be. I'm in charge of the doorbell. I don't want the doorbell via Amazon chatting to the police, because that makes me think that maybe big tech companies and law enforcement agencies have some kind of relationship. Is there any evidence of that? Let's see how the mainstream media report this news story.
They offer homeowners a sense of security, and the hope is they'll scare off criminals. Doorbell cameras.
I just hope that this will scare off criminals. I don't want to have such an emotional relationship as well with the doorbell, do you? I just want ding dong, that's it. And maybe, all right, if what Amazon are offering is a bit of an additional convenience to be able to check, well, no, I don't actually fancy chatting to them. Or even better, some security, like I can see if there's an intruder traipsing across the lawn. But given what we know about Amazon, it's probably best to eliminate any possibility at all that they're accumulating and capturing data and then giving that data to law enforcement agencies, because that's potentially something that could get out of control.
But Amazon's Ring doorbell camera might not be as private as users thought.
Well, you just would assume privacy, isn't it? Privacy from the doorbell. I don't have to ask those questions about other household appliances. You don't think that the toaster's got a relationship with Pfizer, do you? Like it's relaying all my information. You don't think that my hairdryer's chatting to Anthony Fauci in the night? I want to know that all my household appliances have got one thing in mind: my convenience. I don't want to think for one moment that they've got some subversive, clandestine relationship with any government agencies at all. That's really the least I expect from them. That and just dry my hair.
In a new letter from Amazon's vice president for public policy, he admitted the company had given law enforcement access to users' footage without their consent 11 times this year.
Have you given any information to law enforcement agencies? Yeah. How many times? Just 11 that you can prove? Brian Huseman, Amazon Vice President of Public Policy, declined to agree to reforms including never accept financial contributions from policing agencies, never allow immigration enforcement agencies to request Ring recordings, and never participate in police sting operations. When you're purchasing a bit of tech like an Apple Watch or whatever, do you want to have in the back of your mind, have you agreed not to ever participate in a police sting operation? I'm not at liberty to tell you that. Well, you bloody well should be, because I only bought you because my mates had one. Don't think that there's going to be an elaborate sting. Okay, why don't you place me on your bedside table? That's it. Easy does it. And now what are you looking at? Pornography. Go, go, SWAT team, go, go.
Amazon said it was in emergency situations, adding that in each instance, quote, Ring made a good faith determination.
Was it a good faith determination that it was in good faith? Well, as long as my doorbell's making determinations in good faith, let's not start querying the morality of the doorbell. Let's just trust that the doorbell's going to do what in its heart of hearts it believes to be right. Do you see how there's this incremental creep towards taking away your personal freedom and liberty? How in a sense you've just become some dangling hemorrhoid on the arsehole of the system. You don't have any personal autonomy. If your doorbell and the police decide that something's in good faith, you're just going to have to bloody well go along with it.
That there was an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to a person requiring disclosure of information without delay.
They've got to listen to what the doorbell determines is an emergency. Well, the doorbell thought it was an emergency. Why don't you sit down and watch a film like Braveheart, when you see like what human beings are capable of being, what your ancestors went for? We emerged from the basin of creation in Africa. We crossed plains, we survived, we fought, we died, we hunted, we gathered, we did what we had to do. People gave birth to children in clearings. We found ways of overcoming woolly mammoths. Now we can't be trusted to be in charge of our own doorbells and our watches. We've just got to just greyly and grimly walk through life. Broken people. What about our heritage? What about our respect? What about our future? Your doorbell will determine what you're doing in the future.
I don't think it's right to do that. I think it's...
Don't be distracted by a dog or think that they could really easily merge into one another on a paint colour chart.
The person who is paying for the service, it's their... they can decide if they want to give it or not.
But the doorbell might just decide they don't think she should have that dog.
I don't think you're holding that dog in a very friendly way. You're squeezing its ribs.
No, the dog likes that. In the night, I heard the dog go, "What?" I heard it make that noise. Why would it go, "What?"
If it was happy living with you, we've told the police that's an emergency. Something emerged. You were gripping that dog too tight.
How do you decide whether something's an emergency or not?
In good faith.
Bobby Bush lives in Mobile. She says she would not be happy if she found out her security footage was released without being asked.
I hope that never happens.
Yeah, you would hope, wouldn't you, that your security footage isn't just being released to the police. That's not the kind of question we should be asking. Think about what's being implied. You have a paternal relationship with your doorbell, and the doorbell's the parent. I mean, if I'm going to be in a family with my doorbell, I want to be the daddy.
But I think that asking permission is the best. You can always knock on my door if you need footage.
Can't even be relied to ring the fucking doorbell if you want the footage. It doesn't actually work that well as a doorbell. You're best to just knock on the window, or if you want, and the doorbell says it's okay, just smash through the window and drag me screaming from my bed and take me down the police station. If it's an emergency and you and the doorbell decide that it's valid.
You know, but don't just take something that doesn't belong to you that I paid my hard-earned money for.
They're not taking the doorbell. They don't want to take the doorbell. They want the doorbell there so as it can spy on you. Isn't it amazing? We're installing things in our own homes that are spying on us.
Another local homeowner I spoke with says she has no problem with Amazon shooting her video over to police without telling her.
I'll feel good about it. I'll be glad.
It's not helping, is it? You don't like help the police. How long can you maintain the idea that the police are in your service, that Amazon are in your service?
If it was a crime in my neighborhood,
Ghostbusters?
I would be glad if they turned it in.
So you wouldn't feel like that was an invasion of your privacy?
No, not really.
If this woman's so happy to hand over her information, how come she's not agreed to be filmed by the news? Oh no, I'm not doing that.
Well, Amazon maintains that in releasing the footage, it followed the law.
Of course it followed the law because it probably wrote it in conjunction with the senators and Congress people that it continually lobbies. You might think that this is just one example of one product crossing the line and giving your information to the police, but of course it's part of a much broader trend where government agencies and big tech companies collaborate and have contracts between one another that could potentially impinge upon the freedom of us as individuals. Newly published research from Tech Inquiry revealed that the Department of Defense and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, have secured thousands of deals with Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Dell, IBM, Hewlett-Packard, and even Facebook that have not been previously reported. As every single conceivable tech organisation is doing deals with the government. What's Dell doing with them? What's Hewlett-Packard doing?
They took a photocopy of their ass at the Christmas party. Better send that to the FBI.
Amazon has agreed to more than 350 subcontracts with the military and federal law enforcement agencies like ICE and the FBI since 2016, and Google has more than 250. But one company stood out. Microsoft, 5,000 subcontracts with the Department of Defense and various federal law enforcement agencies since 2016. The FBI performed potentially millions of searches of American electronic data last year without a warrant, US intelligence officials said in April. How can we trust the US intelligence officials on this subject when they've got all of these relationships? And why are they doing anything without a warrant? Was these searches warranted? They were not warranted. Did you have a warrant? We didn't have a warrant. Look, you're really focusing on the negative. The good news is, If you want to see, like, whether or not your Federal Express delivery person was handsome or not, you can. The reason we're supposed to trust companies like Apple, Google, Facebook is that they're said to be the product of entrepreneurial genius, born out of the endeavour of brilliant minds, not some kind of concoction born in conjunction with state collaboration. Have a listen to this though. The internet itself grew out of ARPANET, a computer network bankrolled by the Pentagon's Advanced Research Projects Agency. In the words of journalist Yasha Levine, the web was developed as a weapon and remains a weapon, with Washington's national security interests and objectives dominating almost every sinew of the network. Google's own origins trace back to a US intelligence program in the 1990s, under which academics were financed to create a system whereby vast quantities of data on private citizens could be monitored, collected and stored, and individual users identified and tracked. That's the whole point of the internet. How many times are we going to fall for this trick? It's for your convenience. It's possible that the internet itself was developed not to connect us so we could chat to our nans in far off places, or so we could have the convenience of next day delivery. No, the point was always control. We are living in a unique time where big tech companies and state power collaborate in order to prevent us from having authentic, organic connections and individual freedom. By his fruits shall thee know him, it says in the Bible. What that essentially means is you can tell what something's for by looking at what it does. If what it does is spy on you, capture your data, curtail your freedom, grant state new powers and abilities to shut down things, then that's probably the reason for it. And this bit of evidence about the nature of its inception and funding seems to support that idea. Remember that before the pandemic, if a government had wanted to prevent a revolution or popular uprising, that would have meant military on the street. That would have meant law enforcement of an unprecedented scale and a physical presence of military personnel. Now, they can shut down your bank accounts, they can observe where you're going, they can see what you're doing. Your own doorbell might tell the police stuff you don't want the police to know. Not because you're a criminal. Oh, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. No, what about freedom? What about the ability to decide what you want to share with other people? What about privacy? What about the assumption of innocent till proven guilty? What about the assumption of liberty? All these things are being slowly eroded, not at the barrel of a gun, but at the barrel of a doorbell for your convenience. Let's remind ourselves how Amazon presented this product Ring to us in the first place.
Home security starts at your front door. The Ring Video Doorbell features HD video.
Look how it tries to present it to you as if you're like doing your own Minority Report. But meanwhile, actually what's happening is the doorbell and the government are chatting about what you're up to.
Two-way talk and customizable motion detection, which alerts you when anyone steps onto your property.
Hi there, what can I do for you?
Is this 217 Pine Street?
No, I think you're in the wrong place.
No, Sonny Jim, I think you're in the wrong place, thank you, with your knapsack on your back.
Sorry.
Ring puts home security in your hands and makes it easy to watch over your property. With the Ring Video Doorbell, you're always home.
And if you're not, we're gonna tell the fucking police about it. So you better be home. You better not go anywhere. You better take your medicine. You better shut your mouth. You better run every thought you think by a powerful big tech billionaire and a state official before you dare to utter a word. Otherwise, we and your doorbell will be informing the relevant authorities. So that's the world we're living in now. Marched there, not at the barrel of a gun, but with the promise of security and stability and convenience, we grant more freedom and power to agencies that we know are nefarious. We've just heard thousands of contracts exist between government agencies and big tech organizations. Could it be that they care more about those relationships than your convenience? I don't know. Why don't you let us know in the comments below? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed it, have a look at either one of these two. Sign up to our mailing list. And if you don't sign up to that, we'll be watching you through your toaster or through your back scrubber or staring up your toilet into your deepest secrets and most private orifices. And if you want to do something about it, you can't. So good luck trying if you can too. Stay free.